But alright, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna put this on YouTube again, so that's why I started off my sentence with alright. I have not seen anything. I kept myself from the internet today, so I am gonna watch the trailer. Then we're gonna read through this just like we did last week, right? And then let's see our thoughts. I've mentioned I am banking on the Antiquary being amazing, but you guys kind of scared me with the comments that you guys had earlier. So let's see what this new spec brings. Oh yeah, you can say hi YouTube. You'll be on YouTube.
Rich with history, Tyria is filled with artifacts and remnants of the past, all ripe for the picking.
Like, lore-wise, this looks good.
Of sorts, the Antiquary has a certain set of skills to give them the upper hand, and maybe make a profit. Send a skritt to pilfer an opponent.
Lore-wise, this looks cool.
Artifacts from your enemy.
Wait, pilfer probably steal?
Skill. Will you rock out to confuse your opponent?
Could somebody tell me what the connection is between a clearly electric guitar and an Antiquary?
Will you leap up and bring the hammer down? Or let a dancer taunt your enemies? Whatever artifacts you manage to steal.
What in the tarnation am I looking at?
A good Antiquary will always find a good use for their plunder.
Yo, at least tell me this as quick. What the was that? What is that? I thought we would be seeing some relics. And it started okay with the pilfer, but like, what is this? Why do we literally get a stripper hologram? Can't even find it. YouTube doesn't even incorporate.
Always find a good use for their plunder.
Okay, we're gonna need to read the blog post. What is this?
Granting
okay, I'm also hyped about the Ritualist and the Paragon, by the way. They lost you with the guitar. This is so damn weird. Yeah, actually, it is like watching the Green Lantern.
And sowing chaos on the battlefield. Shroud yourself with the ritual knowledge of the past. Summon spirits to aid you in battle.
Okay, this at least looks good.
Seal their fate.
Please tell me that are the F abilities, by the way.
Will send volley after volley to deal increased damage to them.
Yo, those spirits actually look amazing.
With the spirit of wanderlust.
Like, I know we've seen them.
Slams the ground, knocking your enemies to the ground.
I know we've already seen these in fights like Kaining Overlook, but they look amazing.
And as your allies fight beside you, grant them boons and heal their wounds with the spirit of preservation. Summon and channel otherworldly entities. As a ritualist, you will gain a deeper understanding for the spirits of Tyria. Their chants echo across the sand.
I need to lore check myself on this one, but it is actually pretty interesting because unless things changed, originally spirits would summon like spirits through their ancestors, but the modern spirits from Guild Wars factions, I thought that they would summon them from the underworld. Troy, this is indeed all for Guild Wars 2.
Hands of Alona. Reaching friend and foe alike.
Let's see, Paragon. I'm actually excited about this one as well, because I've rediscovered Warrior.
Adrenaline to bolster their allies and demoralize their enemies. Let your voice ring out as you support and
I'm wondering, will we get a trait that makes spears better? Also, is anybody else not triggered by this? The Warrior Elite Spec icon for a Paragon is literally a helmet. Paragons never wear a helmet in Guild Wars Nightfall, instead they wear a crest. And now once again, surprise surprise, we don't have a helmet.
Bolster your allies around you.
I know it's minor,
Protect
but
them with a barrier to help them defend against oncoming attacks. Absorbing damage meant for allies for a short time. Chant of Freedom to break, stun, and give your allies a speed bonus. As a Paragon, you seek to protect your allies
that's what I want to see.
And motivate them to break through their limitations, to fight onward. Be the voice that stirs inspiration as it echoes across the desert sands.
I wonder, so a warrior already has a utility skill that allows you to break, like, CC for all of your allies around you. I wonder how that's gonna fit in here. It did consume the helmet. People are coping with the thief icon as of now. I still gotta figure out why these are the playing cards. Because previously Antiquary, I didn't understand why playing cards. Seeing that guitar and that skritt hologram, this thing, I understand the icon even less. Let's find out what is. Let's like see if we learn something. So the Antiquary are improvisational procurers. The balance of black market trade and above-board commerce in Lion's Arch has tipped towards legitimacy in recent years, and the Captain's Council has banded together with several smaller factions to claim a place in the Tyrian Alliance. Like, from a lore perspective, I am 1000% in, by the way. From a lore perspective, I am 100% in at the moment. But the discovery of the Janthiri artifacts has started a gold rush as explorers hustle to procure rare and valuable items that no living culture can lay claim to. The somewhat euphemistically titled Antiquaries, I mean, it's kind of the same, right? Aren't you like a grave robber or an archaeologist, depending on the diploma you have? Or maybe it's time in between. No shade to archaeologists, by the way, but, you know, it's an arbitrary classification at one point. They pride themselves on their scholarly appreciation for the artifacts they acquire. Many even keep a few in their private collections, ready to impress colleagues at the tavern or blindside foes on the battlefield. Whether they're priori historians or pirates, Lion's Arch is still their favorite nexus for trading and selling their wares. Okay, let's actually see what that skritt happens. Let's check this out. The Pilfer is like a drawing card from a deck. You can also stack it for... Oh! Wait, so Antiquaries are pinnacle of accomplished thieves, no longer stealing for material need, and purely doing so for the fun of it, with the help of their loyal but not necessarily reliable skritt. So that's probably the RNG thing, right? The not necessarily reliable. Antiquaries can plunder precious artifacts from their opponents and turn their random spoils into improvised weapons. Guitar. Antiquaries can even break the rules of regular combat, okay? Allowing them to reverse a dire situation, or at the very least take themselves and their opponents out. Wait. Reverse a dire situation, is that like literally... Well, we have enough heals, right? The Glint heal, Warrior has a heal. That basically all damage taken is reverted. Favorite Nexus, that is actually you, Delta. By the way, you know, go check out Guild Wars Nexus. And take themselves out and their opponents in a blaze of glory. Like, are we about to become Voltorb or Electrode? For the thrill-seeking player who delights in rolling the dice and adapting to any situation no matter the outcome, look no further than the Antiquary. So, like, lore-wise, this speaks a lot to me. As somebody who likes to farm, who likes to collect stuff, then I've mentioned this in WoW. I kind of liked roll the dice on a rogue, and I like the reactive playstyle of having, well, that an elemental shaman and a frost mage had. And likewise, I like playing an astrologian in Final Fantasy XIV as well. Like, so far I'm all in, but like, you guys, well, okay, I'm all in. The guitar and the hologram, I don't know what to feel about that at the moment, I'm not gonna lie. So press our luck. Antiquaries acquire new artifacts with the skill Pilfer, so that, okay, which replaces steal. Summoning a skritt assistant from the underground to plunder from your target. After a successful Pilfer, instead of stolen skills, Antiquaries get the choice of using one of two randomly selected artifacts from across Styria. Okay. So they range from Cryptis turret that fires automatically at any nearby enemy to a check organ that produces a shield. Well, that's what we probably saw in the trailer, right? Protecting you from incoming projectiles. Traits give you final control over the artifacts you receive. So if we loop back to World of Warcraft and to the Astrologian actually in Final Fantasy as well. Oh, and let's go, Yasi! Thank you for the 3 months continued tier 1. Thank you, thank you. If we look back to like World of Warcraft, the rogues and the astrologians in Final Fantasy, like you could also kind of protect your outcome or like manipulate your outcome. So I guess that there's gonna be traits indeed that will say, I don't know, like Deadeye, where you go Q DPS Deadeye, you can always have Steal Time, probably something like that. From guaranteeing that you'll get 1 offensive and 1 defensive each time you pilfer to rerolling your artifacts for new ones at the cost of initiative. Okay. That kind of sounds like the other MMOs. Double Edge, the Antiquary's new skill category... new skill category consists of a set of abilities that can be used repeatedly even while on cooldown. Okay, so thieves no longer have CDs. Well, they never had CDs on their weapons because they use initiative, but now also on utilities. The catch though is that there is a chance for a skill to backfire when used while still cooling down, often with detrimental effects to the user. Wait, has any of you ever played Warhammer Age of Reckoning? War Online, basically. You had, I forgot the name. You had like the Black Mage equivalent, where your spells would grow stronger the more you cast them. You would get like near perma crit chance on them as well. But if you didn't let your spells cool down, basically they would eventually backfire and could one-shot you. I wonder if it's gonna be as extreme or whether it's gonna be lighter. I'm doing great, Yassi. Thank you for asking. How are you today? So the Ritualist. I'm not gonna lie, I was hyped to see that it's Thief, Ritualist, and Paragon here. So spiritual successors. Ritualism is one of Tyria's oldest professions. The practice originated in Cantha, where humans discovered that spirits could be summoned from the mists and bound to a ritualist's will. Practice, this was traditionally a respectful partnership between ritualists and ancestral spirits. But as the speaker's influence spread in recent years, so did their hastily adopted methods of forcibly binding them. Necromancy and ritualism have long been considered separate disciplines, so this is indeed a bit confusing lore-wise. But as open hostility between the speakers and the Jade Brotherhood cools and Cantha becomes one of the Tyrian Alliance's strongest pillars, they have formed ties with the necromantic communities across Central Tyria, Elona and beyond. Ritualism will gain new practitioners, networks of political support, like we need more politicians, right? And shared resources that will ensure that responsible traditions are favored over cruel shortcuts to power. So, as we might expect, they draw a heavy inspiration from the Guild Wars counterpart. So again, Friday live stream, I'll watch this on Twitch together with you guys as well. But their design goal was to capture the key elements of the profession and translate them into Guild Wars 2. So far, I am hoping that the Necro F abilities from a Scourge get replaced with 1 spirit each, and that the utilities will be the spirit weapons that we had. So, they started with spirits. Depending on their skill and trait selections, we expect Ritualists will be able to specialize into supportive builds or aggressive power-focused ones. Okay. Spirits will be summoned while in Ritualist Shroud. Oh! Oh yeah, the dude is actually in a Shroud. And the Ritualists will also gain access to weapon spells and as their utility... Oh, there we go. And weapon spells as their utility type. Kind of what I hoped for, I guess. Well, minus the F abilities, but then a Shroud. That's always good. For those who aren't familiar with weapon spells from Guild Wars 2, they're shareable. Beneficial effects with similarities to stances and venoms. The cool thing is, for lab farming, venom sharing is insane on a thief because you get so many tags extra because they don't overwrite themselves. So, you know, that could be cool, although Necros in the Halloween lab, not that great. Some are applied for a specific duration, others are applied as stacks. Oh, that is actually interesting, a specific duration, because I've been wondering with shouts for Paragon as well. You feel so bad for Thief mains, Neri? Lore-wise, I'm so hyped, but I don't know what to I really need Friday's live stream to see what the utilities will be, right, and the trades. This also excites me. Weapon abilities for a specific duration instead of just the stacks. Could be really cool, you know, so your teammates don't blast all the stacks at once on the wrong target. While weapon spells were ally targeted in Guild Wars, in Guild Wars 2 they will behave differently, that's no shocker. Ritualists will always receive the full effect of the skill, while up to 4 nearby allies will receive the effect at a reduced amount. So for an example, one skill may last for 5 seconds on the Ritualist and 3 on their allies, okay. Okay, so Anguish, Wanderlust and Preservation, those are the spirits we already saw, right? The Shroud behaves similarly to the Necromancer. It is fueled by life force, and damage taken drains the life force pool. Once it's fully drained, the player will exit their Shroud. This is actually exciting. On Reaper, we get like a strengthened Shroud. On Scourge, we have no Shroud. On Harbinger, we do a trade-off for a Shroud that doesn't really make you more tanky, but way more stronger power-wise. If this is like kind of a neutral Shroud that we will use to summon allies, that is kind of cool. So inside the Shroud, Ritualists will have access to 3 abilities that summon spirits. Anguish, Wanderlust, Preservation. Each of them has an initial effect activated by the Ritualist, after which the spirit will appear. When a spirit is summoned, it performs a powerful attack before lingering in a more passive state. During that time, the spirit will periodically attack nearby enemies. Okay, so they're basically kind of like a turret. I do wonder if they follow, like, I'll rewatch the trailer, but I wonder if they follow us or are fully stationary. So the attacks can be focused on a specific enemy by targeting that enemy with the Shroud's basic attack. Oh, that's cool. Because then, indeed, it's less RNG if you, I don't know, let's say you're fighting Aetherblade Hideout CM and you gotta do the ads on the side that they're not like YOLOing off to the weaker ads, right? The spirits will simply attack an enemy that is in range. Spirits will usually disappear when exiting Shroud. Okay. However, there is a trait that allows them to stick around for longer for a cost. I don't know how you guys feel, but I kinda like this design. Kinda like this for now. So when activating Anguish, the Ritualist performs an initial strike on the target that inflicts cripple and vulnerability and marks that target to take additional damage from your summoned creatures. Yes, okay, we've had the minion monster raids in the past, right? Like, you know, 10 Necros bring 60 minions. I might want to do Ritualist raids with you guys. So when Anguish is summoned, it fires a barrage of projectiles at the target that deals additional damage against controlled enemies and for each condition on the enemy. There's a lot more to cover about the Shroud, as well as some trade interactions. I see so many possibilities here, to be honest. Like, both as a DPS spec, as a heal spec. Like, I kind of hope that they will get... well, actually, I do like quickness on Harbinger, it makes sense. I like Alacrity on Scourge. Once again, it makes sense. But this looks like such a fun idea as a support spec. This looks like such a fun idea as a support spec. Now, they do say damage from your summoned creatures. So, the good news is that we will not be in Ritualist jail, because people will want one if there's too many mechs, for example. And then Paragon. So I've mentioned I was banking on the Thief, but anybody who's watched my streams in the past knows that I've been hyping Warrior. I also hate heal like Bladesword. We need a Alacrity spec. Now, you guys mentioned Alacrity for Paragon, so we're rooting here. Because, okay, you can't pre-stack quickness in Fractals, which is a shame on Berserker, but the healing on Berserker is insane. If you weapon swap fast enough with Martial Cadence, you can have perma stability on any of the warrior specs, by the way. Now, usually you don't have perma stability because you stay in staff a little bit longer. Warriors can have permanent resistance, which is insane for some fractals where you get weakness, for example, in Shattered Observatory. But also, if you're just like doing IBS 5, half of those strikes use chill on you, which reverses the alacrity that you have, but resistance ignores this. So, like, I kind of hope that we get a proper support alacrity spec, and I'm not saying alacrity Bladesworn is bad as DPS, although as somebody who likes to stick to a single profession, I kind of love it when you can have power and condi DPS, power and condi quick and alac DPS, and of course quick and alac heal that are somewhat up to par. They don't need to be as strong as Chrono, but I like that, you know, you can precast a tiny bit of quickness with... Oh, that is true. Yeah, I could do Warhorn 4, reset Warhorn 4, right? So let's see. Elona, Land of the Golden Sun, a once opulent dynasty and triune of nations scarred by war, pestilence, and the machinations of divines and dragons over the centuries. In times of crisis, the nations of Elona could count on its most steadfast and inspiring warriors, the Paragons, to serve as an unyielding phalanx against their foes and without them within. Actually, to loop back to Guild Wars, so I'm replaying Guild Wars 1 at the moment. I am playing a Paragon, because I never did it back in the OG game. I kind of hope we get something like Arias or Shans, which in Guild Wars 1, you could have an Aria active, which would have a bonus effect. Let's say all your attacks inflict burning, which would last for like 4 to 10 seconds, but would refresh with a shout ending. Like, that would actually be cool. So in the past, these spear and shield wielding fighters, well, in the trailer they didn't wield a shield and a spear, right? Were a favorite specialization among the storied Sun Spears. However, the practice faded into obscurity after the second coming of Palawa Joko, Hail Joko, who saw the Sun Spears summarily crushed and twisted into the Mordant Crescent. The inheritors of the practice eventually re-emerged in the years following Joko's demise. Today, they are still known for conjuring golden ethereal wings, which, let's be honest, looks badass. I also like the glyph behind them in the trailer. And shouting bolstering chants and commands to empower their allies and demoralize their enemies. So the chants are there. Hoping to expand this tradition beyond Alona, some Sunspear Paragons have begun offering their expertise to those willing to answer the call. I like that they're trying to tie this in lore-wise, by the way, and lead this into a single expansion with like some background. So, the Paragon is a staple pillar of Guild Wars 2 lore, and its elite specialization carries on the tradition of its original iteration. While the spears that were introduced in Guild Wars 2 Giant Wilds have already brought one of the Paragon's key aspects to Warrior, that was, by the way, the reason that I was kind of fearful that we would never get a Paragon, because we already have a Warrior with shouts and we had spears, so I'm so happy they reintroduced elite specs now. So this further delves into their role as commanders and defenders of Elona, granting them the ability to bolster and aid their allies. So with chants and commands, this is why it's the same paragraph. Their presence is so powerful, they can, in a moment of dire need, command their allies to not die. Oh! Yo! Okay, so the Troubadours get you guys to not take any damage at all, because shared distortion. And now we get a lol, no you're not dying button. So the elite skill prevents the Paragon and their allies from falling below 0 health for a short time. Yo, I'm gonna ask you guys, by the way, to join me during the beta event, August 20 to 27. By the way, I'll do a massive giveaway on August 20 because it is my birthday then, and I want to celebrate with all of you. I want to run raids and convergences and fractals all day, every day, for a full week. Because I want to see how much we can break with the We Will Never Yield, with the shared distortion. Like, I want to see how much we can break with this. So chance, like this also gets me riled up, you know. Paragons build up motivation. Oh, that's actually cool. A new resource? Wait, I wonder if that's on top of rage. Or adrenaline, rather. Whenever they use a burst skill. Okay, Axe about to be meta again. In addition to level 1 weapon bursts, Paragons gain access... Oh no, I say Axe, but that's on a Berserker, never mind. Like the no cooldown. Paragons gain access to chants. Special burst skills... Oh, okay, every chant is a burst skill. That are available regardless of the weapon equipped. Chants will come in 2 parts. The first part occurs immediately when it's used, while the second part, the refrain, let's go, is a pulsing beneficial effect. I do hope we get a trait that will do what I said. That refrains are basically refreshed if you use these chants. Refrains drain motivation and deactivate when it's depleted. Oh no, this sounds more like energy basically. Or a shroud even. I mean, not like we're getting shroud, but the shroud bar. In addition to the effects, the refrains become stronger depending on the current motivation level. Thus they are at their most effective when the Paragon stays on the front lines of the battle, channeling adrenaline into burst and chance to keep motivation high. Paragons also gain access to commands, which function similarly to shouts, affecting either enemies or allies around them. Furthermore, command skills come with an additional property called an echo. An echo is a secondary effect that triggers a short interval after a command is used, granting additional bonuses. However, echoes can also be triggered early by using a burst skill. Oh, like this is... I feel like this is gonna introduce a lot of skill-based gameplay. I quickly want to do something here. See if we already have shout relics. Chill nearby enemies after executing a shout skill with Relic of the Reaper. I actually used that in one of my build guides. And remove a condition from affected allies after using a shout skill. Okay. I hope we get like some insane relics that will work with these new elite specs, to be honest. Because the potential is there. But yeah, first thoughts. The Antiquary, not what I expected. I don't think I'm a big fan of the guitar and the hologram visuals. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of on board with the idea of pilfering, of getting RNG. Like, let's be honest. Steal or whatever ability is somewhat... Well, it's not really RNG because it is mob dependent. And yes, on a raid boss, you know exactly which ones you get. I wonder how they will tackle that, whether it will be truly RNG or not. But I've mentioned I personally like a bit of RNG, but some of you have said like there's not that much place for RNG in MMOs. I fully agree with that statement at the same time. I know that's paradoxical, but I'm kind of hyped for that. But I feel the traits is what's gonna make or break the spec. I am also worried because like we do seem to be getting like some support focus. I like what they did with Healer like Spectre. I've mentioned I would love to have a quick heal build. And let's be honest, quick heal Deadeye is beyond cursed. I recently watched Darcy's healer rankings in group content. And I mean, Deadeye was literally the only D tier, with D tier being the lowest. I don't know. We gotta see the live stream there. You guys mentioned Thief forums are already up in arms. I understand why. But I feel like this can be saved so hard with the right traits. I like the RNG mechanic. I gotta say, I feel the Ritualists are kind of a home run. Yet another way to deal with Shroud. A trait that will boost your minions' damage, which is kind of cool. I don't think minions will ever be meta a full minion build. But you already use the Shade. You already use the Golem quite often. As a Necro, I think I've seen builds who use like the heal minion. Like, I do see like some potential. And again, you know, when the beta hits, we're doing a 10-man Ritualist raids. Because why not? This one kind of got me hyped. I don't know. We don't know enough. But at the same time, this feels really well-rounded to me. And then, oh boy. I'm happy I got so deep into Warrior. Because, A, this dude now has the fastest gathering spec in the game. Okay, open world tagging on a warrior blows absolute balls. But, chants, refrains, the echoes that happen. The only way they could have made this cooler for me was if you could wield a spear and a shield together. Although that would not work for your abilities, right? But visually that would be cool. But like, these guys give actually off a commander vibe. And we're gonna try to break every single raid encounter we will never yield. I don't know what the cooldown will be on this. Like, I'm hoping 60 seconds, but that's probably too powerful. But I'd rather have this last like 1 to 1.5 seconds with a 60-second CD than have this last for 5 seconds and that we get a, I don't know, 2.5 minute CD. That would actually not be fun. But yeah, I am pumped. So this Friday, again, when the live stream happens, we're watching this live on stream. Since this is going on YouTube, you know, like, subscribe. I did become an ArenaNet partner. There's like a fancy logo here, which apparently is an FTC guideline. If you like what you see for the expansion, I do have a partner link. I would be grateful if you could like click that if you want to buy the game. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's literally gonna help my channel stay afloat. So yeah, that's it. That's gonna be the YouTube part.